What if we were not the only ones enjoying the view of a city at the night adorned with pretty lights? What if others enjoyed games of light and shadows? What if they were on a completely different planet of a different galaxy waiting to be discovered? Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our channel, and let us wash away all of our doubts with premium information on NASA's one and only James Webb Space Telescope. According to scientists and astronomers in NASA, their famous James Webb Telescope might just make the discovery of the century. There are speculations that artificial light on the exoplanet called Proxima Centauri B can be detected by this marvelous telescope. Studies by the controversial Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb and a team of other dedicated scientists suggest that this optical telescope can be configured in a way so that it can capture evidence of LED light on the Proxima Centauri B, which orbits the planet Proxima Centauri, located at a distance of 4.2 light years away from Earth. For those of you who have little knowledge of what new planet we're talking about in this video, rest assured we're going to provide you with all the important details. While discussing the remote possibility of discovering light on this exoplanet, we must let you know that Proxima B was discovered in 2016 and is assumed to be a rocky terrestrial planet not much larger than our very own Earth. Some scientists even had theories regarding the presence of liquid water on the Proxima B. This exoplanet is most likely to be tidally locked with a permanent night side as it circles very close to its small red dwarf star along its orbit, and a civilization, if there was at all one, would need to deploy powerful mirrors or very bright LED lights to illuminate their cities. Avi Loeb has suggested that this artificial light in question, if it exists, may be picked up by the advanced James Webb Telescope with the help of its near-infrared instrument that will look out for signs of LED light waves in the light from the Proxima B. Just imagining the remote possibility of an extraterrestrial civilization out there and being able to record the light from there is enough to add to the thrill of space exploration. But before we move further, if you're liking our content, then do not forget to encourage us by liking the video. Coming back to this topic, let us take a look at how the James Webb Telescope is constructed. The science and technology behind the design and construction is the single most important reason for its great achievements. Together with the European and Canadian space agencies, NASA has been engaged in the construction of the James Webb Space Telescope for over 20 years now. The wait is almost over when the telescope will be able to prove the existence of life very close to Earth. The segmented mirror of the telescope, with a diameter of about 6.5 meters, is undoubtedly its main advantage. It comprises 18 hexagonal mirror segments, each of them having 1.5 meters diameter, thus amounting to a total light collecting surface area of 25 square meters. The light collected by this collection of mirrors will enable Webb to acquire super clear images. But there are several conditions at play here that determine the smooth functioning of this highly advanced telescope, the most important being temperature. It is imperative that the telescope remains cold and is protected from the heat of the Earth and that of the Sun. Engineers came up with a massive heat shield to protect the Webb from the heat radiators and fitted this into the telescope. The shield is made up of 5 layers of kapton and has an aluminum coating on its surface which will protect the telescope's main mirror and other scientific instruments from heat waves and space radiations, and keep the temperature of the components below 200 degrees Celsius. With every great invention, there's always a price to pay, and for the James Webb Telescope is its huge sheer size. Its size and the reason it cannot be sent up into space just as it is. But if you think that let the great scientists back off, then you cannot be further from the truth. The engineers and scientists who have devoted their lives to the construction and development of this legendary telescope have come up with a marvelous idea of how the telescope can be launched into space. The telescope is going to be folded in the form of an origami and squeezed inside the Ariane 5 rocket to be launched into space, and upon reaching there, it will unfold and start working. It is going to stay in space and work for 5 years, according to the current plan. The Hubble telescope has been out there for over 30 years, providing us with scientific knowledge of space exploration like no other invention has. But according to scientists, if the Webb functions according to calculations, would take much less time to yield meaningful results, as it can detect lights that the Hubble cannot. The James Webb Telescope can detect light that is 100 times dimmer than what we can be detected by the Hubble or any other space telescope, and hence be able to detect civilizations that produce it. The Webb was created to explore space in the infrared region of light waves, something that none of the predecessor telescopes was able to achieve. The thing that we should keep in mind is the fact that light emitted from stars located light years away when reaching us becomes very dim and almost feeble. In other words, these radiations become infrared and hence invisible to the human eye. The Webb will be able to detect these infrared radiations from distant stars and galaxies probably located at the far end of our own galaxy that will travel through dense gas matter and debris. In simpler words, you can expect the James Webb Telescope to detect where stars and galaxies were born through massive clouds of dust and space debris. The near-infrared camera is another very important component of the telescope, as it will allow it to take pictures of faint objects around bright light sources. This camera, in short, will help Webb to explore the earliest stars and galaxies as they were being formed, and this makes the telescope so much similar to a time machine. It is almost as if the telescope will go back in time to capture the nuances of how those stars were formed, and then present us with a wealth of scientific knowledge like never before. Another component of the telescope worth mentioning is the near-infrared spectrograph, which can analyze a rough estimate of 100 spectra simultaneously and tell us about the physical properties of the objects whose pictures it will manage to capture, like their temperature, mass, and chemical composition. This will further allow the Webb to capture images of faraway and faint comets out there. But to be able to do so, the telescope will have to point in the correct direction and with great precision. It cannot deviate from its path, and this is where another significant component of the telescope called the near-infrared imager comes into play. It is with the help of this that the telescope will be able to detect traces of the first light and exoplanets that have remained undiscovered to date. With speculations of the presence of an intelligent life form on the exoplanet Proxima B, scientists are sure that this extremely sophisticated and technological marvel of a telescope will be able to detect artificial lights of an alien civilization if there is one. The James Webb Telescope was created for just this sort of discovery, as it can detect LED lights 500 times stronger than what can possibly be imagined on Earth. This brings us to a simple conclusion, that if there is any life out there in the Proxima B, and if they have managed to produce and use artificial light, the human race will get to know about it and its location. This brings us to the end of the video, and we hope that we were able to quench your thirst for curiosity. What are your opinions on the success of the James Webb Telescope in detecting artificial lights from an alien civilization? Do let us know in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you are a sucker for space exploration. Press the bell icon to get notified each time we come up with something new, and have a great day, folks!